pointed at her. Looked like she might have pointed at Lexi Hall. What the hell? Let's get back to this article, man. So these are some of the photos here of the incident. So as you guys can see here, she's elbowing Lexi Hall in the face. This is Lexi Hall here. And she laughed. I knew she laughed. She's laughing about assaulting Lexi Hall.
The landscape of professional basketball is shifting beneath our feet. And right now, it has reached an absolute boiling point. Across sports bars, social media feeds, and national talk shows, one question is being yelled louder than any other. Has the intensity on the hardwood gone too far? For decades, the WNBA has been a league defined by grit, elite skill, and fierce competitiveness. But in the modern era, the spotlight has never been brighter. The stakes have never been higher, and the collisions have never been this scrutinized. Every single week, millions of eyes tune in to watch a fierce battle for dominance. A battle where rising stars and established veterans clash in a physical chess match that regularly threatens to boil over. Take a look at the floor during any matchup between the Indiana Fever and their fiercest competitors. You see the relentless drive of Caitlin Clark trying to navigate a maze of suffocating defensive pressure. You see the absolute fearlessness of Lexi Hall diving for loose balls and absorbing heavy contact on the perimeter. And on the other side, you see the pure, unadulterated defensive power of veterans like Alyssa Thomas, players who built their reputations on leaving everything on the floor, setting hard screens, and playing a brand of basketball that refuses to yield an inch. But after recent high-stakes encounters, the conversation has completely broken out of the sports pages. It's no longer just about points, rebounds, and assists. It is about a fundamental ideological war dividing the basketball community. On one side, purists argue that this is the raw, beautiful reality of elite basketball, a physical sport where fouls are part of the game and weakness is exploited. On the other side, a growing chorus of fans, prominent media voices, and even legendary figures from the sport's history are breaking their silence to ask, where is the line between championship defense and dangerous play? The tension is real. The scrutiny is unprecedented. And as the pressure mounts on league executives, many are wondering if we are watching the final days of the sport as we once knew it. This is the inside story of a league at a crossroads where every hard foul is a headline and every collision threatens to alter the future of the game.
Did any of you guys see this? So Alyssa Thomas elbowed Lexi Hall in the face. Again, she was just shooting a layup. I will never be one to defend Alyssa Thomas's intent, but she went for a layup and did elbow Lexi Hall in the face. There was no intent in this. She wasn't looking at Lexi Hall. She is either the...
How many WNBA games have you watched in totality? I bet you none of those lawmakers have watched them.
Zero.
So how
Actually, I guarantee you they watched games of Caitlin Clark.
How are they coming to these conclusions when they haven't watched the play in other instances? She gets physical play because she's a good player, and I've never seen them come to the rescue of someone like Angel Reese, for example,
Wait, hold on a second.
who got clotheslined on the court.
We have a Democrat defending women's sports here. Jason, do you think? Hold on, Jason. Do you think Michael Jordan should be able to play in the WNBA?
No, but here's what I'm saying. Michael Jordan's too old. But I'll tell you this much. Michael Jordan, when he was getting fouled by the Detroit Pistons and getting slammed on the ground, Congress didn't come in and save him. He had
to understand how we arrived at this breaking point, you have to look at the collision course between two entirely different basketball philosophies. On one end, you have the established vanguard of the league. Veterans who entered a league that fought tooth and nail for every ounce of media attention. They survived and thrived by playing an intensely physical, defensive-minded style where nothing was given, and everything was earned through sheer force of will. Enter the new era. The arrival of unprecedented star power has brought a massive wave of new viewership, corporate endorsements, and a relentless media spotlight. When young talents face off against defensive enforcers, it creates a perfect storm. Every time a team like the Fever steps onto the court against an aggressive, physical defense, it becomes a viral moment waiting to happen. Basketball analysts analyze every single frame of video. A hard whistle in the second quarter isn't just a common foul anymore. It becomes a multi-day debate on national television. When a player like Lexi Hall catches a hard screen or ends up on the floor after a driving layup, the internet explodes. The debate centers on intent versus intensity. Defensive players argue that their job is to disrupt, to deny space, and to make the game as uncomfortable as possible for high-scoring offenses. They are playing within the rules established by decades of precedent. But critics point out that the speed and athleticism of today's players mean that collisions carry much higher risks. When a defender plays with an uncompromising, highly physical edge, the margin for error disappears. A fraction of a second can be the difference between a brilliant defensive stop and a gammy-turning injury-causing impact. As these intense matchups repeat throughout the season, a narrative of targeted targeting begins to take hold among fan bases. The emotional weight of these games builds up, creating a highly charged environment where players can no longer escape the noise. As the physical drama on the court continues to escalate, the league's initial strategy of letting the players play has run into a wall of public pressure. And the biggest catalyst for this shift, the voices of the legends who paved the way.
Mercury's so lame that Arizona fans are cheering for the Fever. And like, that's the crazy thing, is that I wonder what the attendance for this game was. I wonder what the attendance for this game compared to their normal one was. Because I know the Fever haven't been doing good attendance-wise this year. They haven't done well at all. So there was 17,000 people at the game to watch the Fever without Caitlin Clark. And the Mercury had 9,000. Holy shit. Oh, it's the one time. It's the only time they were playing the Fever in Phoenix. Because they advertised it as, this is the one game. They advertised it as the only time you're going to get to see Caitlin Clark. I shit you not. They advertised the game as that. And they didn't even get to see her. At least they still showed up. At least the away fans are still showing up to see the Fever. The Fever home fans really aren't. They're really not. Like, the Fever's home attendance has been pretty grim. It has been pretty grim with or without Caitlin. Like, especially people showing up. A lot of people buying tickets and not showing up for the Fever. It's not ideal. But it's one of those things where the fans in this game were obviously a mixture of Fever and Phoenix fans. And one of the craziest things about this is Sophie Cunningham basically got booed for 40 minutes here.
When former champions, Hall of Famers, and respected sports historians begin to speak out, the conversation changes from fan chatter to structural critique. Recently, several prominent basketball icons have used their platforms to voice serious concerns about the current state of on-court safety. They aren't criticizing the competitive spirit. They know what it takes to win at the highest level. Instead, they are pointing fingers at the consistency of the officiating and the lack of clear boundaries from league leadership. One legendary guard recently noted in a widely shared interview that while physical play is an essential element of playoff basketball, the league risks overshadowing its immense skill if the primary talking point after every game is a controversial collision. When the focus shifts from a brilliant passing display or a clutch shooting performance to an administrative debate over flagrant foul upgrades, everyone loses. This public pushback has created a domino effect. Music. Sports legal experts and analysts are now examining the broader implications of player safety protocols. In any professional sport, the league operates under a duty of care to provide a regulated environment. If the perception grows that certain players are allowed to cross the line of safe athletic competition without facing significant league discipline, it opens the door to outside scrutiny. Rumors have even surfaced regarding discussions among sports lawmakers and athletic commissions regarding the standardization of officiating reviews across professional leagues. The idea that outside regulatory eyes could look into an independent sports league's internal safety discipline is sending shockwaves through the front offices. The silence has been broken, and the league can no longer afford to look the other way. So where do we go from here? The rivalry between these elite athletes isn't going away. If anything, the public spotlight has only deepened the competitive divide.
Because somebody said something about me not blowing it up all the way. I want to read this for you guys. It says WNBA star who punched Caitlin Clark in the throat caught in fresh violence. Controversy with the different Indiana Fever player. The WNBA player who was banned for punching Caitlin Clark in the throat has been slammed for yet more violence in her latest game against the Indiana Fever. The Phoenix Mercury star Alyssa Thomas served a one-game suspension without pay for a non-basketball act after a post-game review determined that she had recklessly made contact with Caitlin Clark's throat with her closed fist. Now, we all remember when that happened. I was in the stands during that game. It was a very, very horrendous, horrific scene to watch. And what if I was to tell you she has another scene? What if I was to tell you that this young lady right here need to be counseled? Like, she need counseling for anger management or something, because this right here is beyond me. Now, the article goes on to say less than 2 weeks on from the unsavory incident, which sparked a nationwide storm accusation of racial profiling and involvement from politicians, the rivalry continued on Thursday night when the Fever once again took on the Mercury. Caitlin Clark was not playing. We also did not see Caitlin Clark play due to her ongoing injury recovery. So this time, it was teammate on the other end. Now, this specific teammate is one of the trios, I should say, to the Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever team. It's 3 women that we love dearly, don't play about. That is Lexi